Today we're going to be watching another scary video, and it's time. Ready, set, go.
This happened to me when I was 4 years old and was still living with my family in San Diego, California. It was a summer morning, and as was customary for my family on the weekends, it was decided to go to the closest swap meet to do some shopping, right after having breakfast at our favorite pancake place. Diego, California. It was a summer morning, and as was customary for my family on the weekends, it was decided to go to the closest swap meet to do some shopping, right after having breakfast at our favorite pancake place. Before I share my account of what happened, I need to make two things clear. The first one is that I'm a female, and even though I'm Caucasian, having very curly black hair has often made people think I'm Hispanic or biracial. Secondly, there were two things that always, and I mean always, made my father distracted whenever we went out: women and tools. Now, on the day in question, my father was looking for some specific tool he needed to work on some armoire he'd been asked to make for a client, while my heavily pregnant mother had decided it was time to buy the last item she needed for the baby before she could go into emergency labor. To save time, my mother and my 8-year-old brother stayed behind to check baby stuff in one of the stands closest to the food court, right in the middle of the place. Because my brother was older, he'd been assigned the role of man of the house while my father took care of his shopping. This left me under the care of my father. My father took me to check the tool stand that was located at the opposite end of that row. As expected, and despite my mother warning him several times that morning not to let go of my hand, as he'd done the previous week, I got lost inside a department store because he got distracted. He let go of my hand as soon as a young lady asked if she could help him find anything. He pointed to a toolbox that had caught his eye, and he went around the table as she offered to open it so he could check out the tools inside. When I felt bored just standing there, I turned around to see if my mother was still checking the baby stuff, thinking that I could perhaps go with her instead of staying there and looking at boring stuff. But I didn't see her or my brother. I'd stayed at the same spot waiting, because I'd been told the week before to stay where I was so it would be easier to find me if my father forgot about me. As time dragged on without my father checking up on me, I realized he probably wasn't going to come back. I looked around, but he was nowhere in sight. The young lady was still there, but she was now talking to another man. I waited a little while longer, thinking perhaps he'd gone to the van beside the stand to check out any other tools kept in there. I was feeling increasingly scared by then, so I took a few steps into the stand and called out for my father. He wasn't there anymore. Figuring that he'd forgotten all about me again, I walked back to the stand where my mother and brother had been. They were no longer there either. I began walking around, looking for them, but I couldn't see them in any of the stands that I passed. To make things worse, that day the swap meet was packed, so it was hard to see them with all the adults towering around me. To this day, I don't know how I managed to stay calm and find my way to the side entrance where my father had parked the car. Before I continue, I need to say that even though I'm a girl, my parents often dressed me in some of the clothes that no longer fit my older brother. This wasn't due to some crazy beliefs or anything of that sort. It was only that we were kind of poor and it was cheaper to have their daughter wear their eldest son's clothes sometimes, while they saved up to get me girl clothes. That day, I was wearing some denim overalls, a white t-shirt with yellow lines on the sleeves and chest, and a pair of brown Oxfords instead of my usual Mary Janes.